Hey, I'm Satorio Phil. Welcome back to my channel. This is part 2 of my Asia haul unboxing slash reveal. This part 2 is basically just one item that I kind of left as a teaser in my last video. I didn't know my last video was going to be over 25 minutes long, so by that time I figured I'd split this up and make this a little bit more exciting since it would have been all the way at the end of the last video anyway. I had purchased this while I was on my trip. As I was saying, this was purchased in Hong Kong. Here is a closer view of the box. And in this video, I'm not going to do a super detailed video on it. It's more or less just an unboxing, so you see what watch I got. I mean, it's pretty clear that this is a watch. This box has a front flap that opens. And then this is just like a styrofoam packaging. So this is a kind of hard to see because it's very subtle, but it's actually a wood grain. And from the looks of it, when I inspected it, I think it's actually a veneer, but instead of a print. So it's a very glossy box. And then there's a button here for you to open it. Before I do that, but I will, I promise, just wanted to quickly show you what was underneath here. So this box has the watch box. So this is also a booklet that comes with it. AP. Here's the other stamp. So this one I had posted a Instagram picture. It's a warranty card, and the interesting thing is they have to activate this. If you see this symbol right here, they have a machine where they tap this card and it gets activated in the system. This talks about the self-winding movement. And this is warranty information. Alright, so back to the main event of the main product. I've changed the exposure a little bit so you can see more details of the box. Like I was saying, there's a wood grain here, and I think it's an actual veneer, not just a print. And then there's just one button here. One thing annoys me just a little bit is that when I press the button, nothing happens. It's partly because this box, or the top part, is so heavy that it can't just spring open, and you can see here that's the hinge. So it's more of an assisted box. As you open it further, it will jump up. And the watch that I got is, I've talked to a few people on Instagram about it before, this being my kind of next dream watch from my Rolex. So the watch that I got is the Royal Oak. This is the 36mm version. Just to talk about the box, it also has Audemars here in gold foil. And like I was saying earlier, it's kind of slightly has a spring once you open it most of the way. This is in solid 18 karat rose gold. That's why it has such a hefty price tag. I had considered the version with just the solid rose gold case, but with the leather strap. But the thing with the Royal Oak bracelet is it's pretty signature too. When you see the bracelet, you can tell that it's a Royal Oak. And if you get a leather bracelet or strap, then you don't really get that effect. And what's really beautiful about this is the way that they finish the metal. Depending on the exposure level, you can kind of see the lines. The way they have videos on this, on how they sand it so that they get this effect. So on the flat faces, it's a matte brushed effect, but the brushing is extremely accurate. So they're all facing the same way. But then on the sides, on the corner, the mitered edges, they're polished completely smooth. And you can see it on this crown too. Or you can see on the bezel, I should say. This is the crown. It's the metal piece that you turn. This is the bezel, this is the case, this is the bracelet, and then this is the crystal. So you can see how parts of it are polished and parts of it are brushed, which make it have a very interesting effect as you move around because it reflects light in many different ways. This is the deployment clasp. It has AP on it. And I actually tried this one on in Paris in my Paris trip, but I just didn't end up getting it there because I had already purchased the Birkin and the Cartier. This one has a gray dial, and that's the last thing, I guess. The dial is the watch face, and then these are the markers. These are just pretty simple. I think the markers and the hands are also in rose gold, just like the Rolex. It's in the same color as the dual material, except this one is just a single material, which is 18 karat rose gold. This one just has a date, and then you have the hour, minute, and hand. So it says AP Audemars Piguet, automatic, Swiss made. And you see these white things in between each of the markers and on the hands. It is actually glow-in-the-dark material, which I can show you guys in a more detailed video, how it looks like on and how it looks like in the dark if you're interested. So this octagonal bezel is the most, I would say, the most signature element of the Royal Oak and what makes it very recognizable. There's another brand, GP, it's Gerard Perigot. I don't know if that's exactly how you pronounce it, but they have a pretty similar silhouette too, but they don't have this bracelet. So if you really like the look, you can actually get a similar one from them, and it's a bit less expensive. And also signature of the Royal Oak is that watch face or the dial. I think they called it a tassel. I forget. It's a textile pattern. So it kind of just looks like a grid from afar, but when you zoom in really closely, I may try to use my macro lens. You can see how detailed and intricate the weaving pattern is. So the last thing I guess I'm gonna do is you open it by pressing on these two sides. I still haven't removed the plastic covering here. When I looked at this watch at the Audemars boutique, it was entirely wrapped in plastic. I guess that's another thing I didn't mention. I purchased this directly from the Audemars boutique, which is how I got the shopping bag, because there are some resellers, but I don't think they're authorized. Whereas the Rolex does have authorized resellers. So one more thing I haven't shown you is the back, and unlike my Rolex, this one has an open back. You can see into the heart, you could say, of the movement, and then you can also see the pendulum. The pendulum, I believe, is in the same material. It's either the same material, so 18 karat rose gold, or I thought I read somewhere that it was like 24 karat yellow gold, but not sure. The color does look a little bit different on the camera, but I need to check this out further. But anyway, you have the pendulum which moves, and that's what the self-winding movement is. So as you move your wrist around, it winds the movement, and that provides kinetic energy, or potential energy in this case, for it to use to operate the watch. And then there's the markings, which are gonna be a little hard to see, but it has AU 750, which means gold 18 karat, so 75% gold and then 25% other material. The way rose gold is made is that they mix copper in it to make it have a slightly red hue. And this is the clasp. I quite like the clasp too. And I like, similar to my Rolex, the pattern goes all the way through. It doesn't have a big band here. So the Daytona Rolex watch has a big band here, which stops the pattern. But both my Rolex, I guess it's actually called the Super Jubilee bracelet. It has the pattern running all the way through except for the logo of the watch. And I'm just gonna quickly try it on for you guys. I'm kind of interested to know which hand you wear your watch on. I'm actually left-handed, so I write with my left hand, but I'm just so used to wearing the watch on my left hand as well that's where I wear it, even though it can sometimes get in the way if I'm writing. So there it goes, it clipped on. And I had this adjusted while I was at the boutique. So they removed 2 links. I think I actually need to add one back, because when I just put it on and it's dry, there's no sweat, it fits pretty well. But after like half an hour of wearing it, it actually gets quite tight, and then I get the impression of the watch, and it kind of hurts a little bit. So I think I need to add one more. These are the 2 links that were removed, and these are pretty expensive. I think each was around US price $300 to $500 for each of these, just because it is solid gold. And for larger wrists, like I have relatively small wrists. If you have larger wrists, I think you're gonna have to pay a little extra to get it expanded, because just adding 2 links doesn't make it too big. So if you have a larger wrist, I don't know if it's the case with all of the Royal Oaks, but at least with this one, you may have to purchase 1 or 2 extra links. I'm pretty sure they're not going to provide those for free. Here's just quickly what the watch looks like on. I'm completely in love with this watch. So I really love the bracelet. You can see as you rotate, it has a very jewelry-like quality to it. And I do think the watch face is beautiful. It's simple, but I like the intricacy of that tassel, a tassellation pattern, whatever they call it. This one, unlike my Rolex, does not have any diamonds, but I think that's okay. I do still really like my Rolex though, so don't get me wrong. I think this one will still be reserved for more special occasion or going out usage, just because this being in solid 18 karat gold is gonna be easily scratched. And plus, with this intricate finishing with the brushing, I think scratches are gonna show more prominently too, because I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna get a scratch that's exactly in the same direction, so you're gonna see like lines that are not in the same angle. So far, I don't think I've managed to scratch this. I did actually, when I purchased this, I wore it out while I was in Asia, and I was very careful with it. I did have a sports coat over it for most of the time to protect it from banging against something. Yeah, so that is my kind of quick unboxing that turned into kind of a long story time, but I still want to make a more detailed video just showing you how this looks like on with more outfits. I can tell you a little bit about the process of purchasing it and show you a little bit more photos and videos while I was in the boutique trying this on. And I should have mentioned this earlier in the video. I had talked about the frosted gold version. I checked out the one in Paris. They had the 36mm one in white gold, but it just wasn't. I just really wanted the rose gold. Plus, it was like $10,000 or $15,000 more expensive than this base version. The store in Hong Kong had the rose gold, but it was in the smaller, I think it's 31mm version. I tried it on too. I'll include pictures either here or in my next video. It just looked too small. Even though I have smaller wrists, for some reason it made it look even smaller, and I just, as much as I really love the frosted gold effect, the smaller case size just really didn't work for me. In Singapore, they did have the 36 frosted gold, but unfortunately, I just didn't go into the shop because I wasn't really in the mood to go shopping or buy a watch. Kind of wish I did, because perhaps I may have gotten that one instead of this one. However, I don't regret purchasing this. This is much more easily wearable, even though it's 100%, even though it's all gold. The frosted gold one is very extremely eye-catching, and it'll be really tough to wear it on a daily use. So with the frosted gold, that one I would say really is more of a special events, like a special event party kind of occasion watch or black tie watch. Whereas this one I can still get away with wearing it around casually. The other one is really tough because it honestly looks like it's completely paved or has diamond pave all over it. They are going to remake it in 41mm, so they're going to discontinue the 32 and 36. When they sell out, they only have a few more worldwide. When they sell out of those, it sounded like they're not going to remake it anymore, but they are remaking the frosted gold in the 41mm version. They're also no longer making this in the white dial, which is too bad. last year or 2 years ago when I was in Paris, I tried on one of the last white dials one, but I didn't end up purchasing it. And it's getting increasingly harder and harder to find the dual tone. They may be getting rid of that as well. So the dual tone, like my Rolex, the bezel is in 18 karat gold, and then you see these rectangular links that go vertically. Those were also in the metal, the precious metal color, and then the rest of the bracelet and the case was in stainless steel. I heard that they're, I think, slowly discontinuing those as well. Lastly, if you're interested in the stainless steel versions, those are really hard to get at the boutique, especially if you're at a touristy location. Those sell out almost instantly. When they get them in, they sell them out. So when I was in Paris, it's like impossible to get those. But in my local town, I haven't a boutique that carries one. So actually, I guess there are maybe authorized resellers. I'm not exactly sure, but it's a jewelry house that sells Audemars, and they did have the stainless steel one, which I tried on before, which looks really nice too. It has more of a dark gray color compared to white gold, but I just really love rose gold, and I think it works for my complexion. Yeah, so that's my long-winded message and unboxing of the Audemars. If you made it this far, congratulations. And definitely subscribe to my channel for more videos. I'm going to do more detailed videos on this and the other luxury items I got from Asia, because I just quickly unboxed those. And I will definitely have more luxury purchases and reviews to come. Also, check me out on Instagram if you haven't already, because I post more updates there. And sometimes I already post like teasers or images of the things I purchased there long before I make a video on YouTube. And especially when I'm traveling, it's much easier for me to post on Instagram than it is for me to make a video and upload it to YouTube. So definitely appreciate you watching, and I hope to see you in my next video.